my compadre from NFL Network, Pro Football Hall of Famer, but more importantly, father to starting Nebraska wide receiver, the dad of Cade Warner. Kurt Warner is here.
Good to see you, man.
You're going to be fired up about that, huh?
I mean,
come on now.
I just love the game. So
I know
to
that.
see your kids
but you're
do well and
a walk-on too. He stuck with it.
He's just a great kid too. I mean, that's, you've met him. I mean, that's the coolest thing is good football player and all that, but he's just a great kid. And so when you have a great kid that does nothing but work his butt off to earn that position, we're so proud of him. And we're, as you said, we're excited. That's the one thing. I might not be at too many of our production meetings this year.
No, I was
so
about
that
to
may
say
be
that.
something that I missed.
No, I'm
going
sure.
to try to get to as many games as I can.
I bet. You're going to be all over the map. You do Monday Night Football on radio. You do our shows. You're going to have to be as many at those Nebraska games.
Yeah, I'm coaching Friday nights for my other son. You are? My other son is a sophomore in high school, so coaching Friday nights.
Which team is that?
Brophy College Prep in Arizona. So we got our first win last week, a nice win for us against the top 10 team. So good start for us.
What sort of coach are you? What are you? Are you a disciplinarian
for my son or for everybody else?
You
see, I know.
Boy. That's like Jimmy Johnson with Irv and everybody else.
It's hard. No, I mean, I think I'm harder on my kids than I am everyone else.
Okay.
So you know the potential. You'll get there, right? You see them every day. You know the potential. You want them to do nothing but great. So sometimes you push them a little bit harder. But
it was so funny the other day when you commented about it on Twitter. There was an actor, Robbie Amell, who could not throw. He didn't throw properly, and it looked his throw was terrible. And he got roasted on Twitter for throwing this manner in some movie. And I said I kind of felt how I understood how he felt because of a SportsCenter commercial I was in. They refused to let me wash my hands coming out of the bathroom for the timing purposes of the commercial. And so I understood how this guy was throwing this way. He had to throw this way perhaps because of the way the cameras and the sound equipment was around.
Perhaps.
And so perhaps. So I said I know how I felt, that I would much rather be known as somebody who can't throw a football than somebody who doesn't wash his hands coming out of the bathroom. And what did you say, Chris Brockman? You're like, well, what about Kurt Warner? I mean, your name was invoked.
It's one thing if you're an actor with that. It's another thing if you're the face of the NFL Network and you can't throw a football. That is a whole different thing. There's just an expectation that comes with, so much about football and all this stuff. I mean, you know what? You guys know what I mean.
No.
Gosh. I mean?
This is Kurt's favorite pastime. He says he loves football, but that's not much. He loves his wife. That's understandable. Right underneath that is tearing me any sort of new one in regards to any physical attribute I might display.
And I'm not a big fan of some of the skits that we do on NFL game day morning.
So you're not ready for the sumo wrestling we're doing on Tuesday?
That actually sounds like fun. I'm okay with that.
But you see Tuesday.
Anything that we do that's physical, that you're involved, I'm all about those skits on Sunday morning. I love those things for you to come out and
You never felt safer
us.
than on the dunk tank with Rich throwing.
Oh, yeah, there was no chance. Well, I mean, other than when he ran up and pushed it with his hand, there was no chance he was hitting it with the football. No chance.
Kurt Warner here on the Rich Eisen Show. Okay, I give you the floor on Andrew Luck's retirement. You thought what when you heard it?
Well, I mean, obviously the original thought was everybody was, surprised by the whole thing. I think, us football fans, fan of the position, fan of guys that carry themselves the right way and carry the torch of the NFL. Disappointed, from that standpoint, because he does everything right, and I enjoy watching him play the game. So that was the one side of it. The other side of it, fully understand what he's talking about. Going through my career the way that I did, whether it was the years that I was sitting around hoping I could get back on a football field and play, the times that I got benched and I'm running scout team, or times when I went through injuries where it starts to suck away the love that you have for the game, because what you love is competing. What you love is Sunday afternoons. And when that's taken away from you and it becomes about everything else, you start to wrestle with the idea that I started playing this game because I loved the game. Now, all these other things are taking more of my time and attention, and I can't even get to do the thing that I love to do. And so fully understand that part of it. And you have to believe that a lot of people are going to say, why did it happen now? Why did it happen 2 weeks before the season? I feel like a part of it had to be, I don't want to go into another season where every single week everybody's wondering, is this the week that Andrew Luck plays? And the team has to answer the questions. And Jacoby's got to wonder, am I going to be the starter this week? And because it's just gone on for so long, I almost feel like he was like, I need to step away for the benefit of the team as well as my benefit so I can get away and get back to just kind of loving life again, because he's been through this struggle for so long.
That's part of the thing that makes it so sad. And I know, again, whenever I say, man, I feel for him, and it's so saddening to me. I get it. He made millions. He's getting to keep millions. I understand one of the members of our profession said it's like the most millennial thing that he couldn't handle rehabbing, all that sort of stuff. To me, the fact, just knowing of him and having met him, that he sat there, Kurt Warner, and thought the only way out of this was to stop playing football.
Right.
Had to have been patently miserable, depressing sadness.
No doubt. I mean, I even put on another. I remember when I was benched and I was running the scout team and they were holding cards up and saying, okay, throw to the guy that's circled. And I was making a lot of money, and it was a great living. But I was miserable every day that I went to work going, this is not why I play this game. Not to make the money or the fame or to last as long as I play, because I love competing and I love going out there and the X's and O's and the cat and mouse part of it. But I was talking to him, I was like, I just want to retire. I don't want to be a backup and run scout team.
That was here in New York?
That was actually in Arizona.
In Arizona.
And, that's a whole different level, because it's not even the rehab and the pain and the struggle of just being able to feel good when you show up to work every day. And, I know a lot of people out there are like, well, you make a lot of money and all that. And I understand that, but a lot of guys don't play for that part of it. That is a huge blessing and benefit to this game, is you can set yourself up for the long haul. But some guys aren't wired just to go, oh, okay, so I don't get to do what I love to do. That's okay because I'm making a lot of money. And that's what I think a lot of people at home don't understand, is that there's people out there just play this game because they love it. And if they can't do what they love, they would rather step away and find something else that they love to do rather than just come to work because they can or because they make a lot of money. And I truly believe, and when you heard Andrew Luck talk, that was basically what he was saying, is that my love for the game, this other stuff has become stronger in my mind than my love for the game. And it's why I retired. I think it's why most guys retire, is because you don't want to put in the time in the offseason anymore. The preparation part of it, the expectation that comes into, okay, you just played a game, but now we expect you to throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns next week and carry the team. Those things start to outweigh your love for the game. And that, to me, was when it was time for me to step away, when the physical and mental toll outweighed just enjoying showing up on Sunday afternoons. And I think we all come to that point at some time, some earlier than others. And I just believe Andrew Luck, with all he's been through, he came to that much earlier than we all wanted. I'm sure more earlier than he wanted. But I understand that feeling, and proud that he was willing to, because most guys are going to just hang around going, man, I'm making a lot of money. I'm just going to try to hang around, and I'm going to be miserable in the process. That, that he was able to step up and go, I'm going to walk away from all of this because I'm not enjoying what I do on a daily basis.
A few more minutes left with Kurt Warner. Actually, about 4 minutes almost on the head here. It's a hard out. You know that, being a radio guy.
Hard out, yeah.
Yeah, so last thing for you. It sure looks like, I mentioned New York here. Here we are in New York. It sure looks like it's the same situation with you and Eli, now with Eli and Daniel Jones. It has that possibility here.
Yeah.
Now, Daniel Jones wasn't drafted as high as Eli.
Right.
You did not have the whole history with one single franchise that Eli clearly has here in New York. It's not perfectly apples to apples.
Right.
Do you think we're seeing this play out in some way, shape, or form here this year?
Well, I think it has to play out in some way, shape, or form, but I just think there's a bigger grace period for Eli than most guys would get. And, I don't really know what that looks like. I've talked about it a lot with a lot of people. I think Eli has earned the right to kind of see this thing out the way that he wants to. And that doesn't mean for the next 3 or 4 years. I think for this season, because we've seen what Daniel Jones has been in preseason, if we believe that's what he's going to be in the regular season, he's earned the right to kind of play these 16 games. But I always reserve the right to say, if there comes a point when the organization believes Daniel Jones is the better quarterback, hands down, without a doubt, you have to make that decision at that time. But outside of that, I believe this is Eli's season to play out 16 games, to show people where he's at and figure it out from there. And the clean break is to go let him play the season. And then if we believe it's time, we usher that in next year, as opposed to Eli sitting on the bench for 8, 7, 6 games at the end of the year while Daniel Jones takes over. And I believe that's the perfect scenario. But as we know, in this business, there's not a lot of perfect scenarios that play out.
Did you see the photograph after the Bengals-Giants game in Cincinnati where the entire media crowd, like 3 rows deep, boom mics, were around Daniel Jones, and off to the side was Eli just putting his shoes on by himself? What do you think was going through his mind based on just
Well, I mean, I think similar things to what went through my mind when I was in those situations, that here's what I've done and what I've accomplished, yet they can't wait to replace me. And, you know, what a tough feeling that is. And again, mine came in different ways. I mean, here's Eli Manning, that's a 2-time Super Bowl champion for this organization, that has done, done everything and been a model citizen and representation of this organization. But I know the feeling. The feeling is, this is the NFL, and they are always looking for the next guy and looking for the guy, the heir apparent, the guy to replace you. And the young guys played really well, and so, I mean, I know Eli's going, okay, I'm gonna show him over these next 16 games that I belong as the starter. But every day you show up to work, you say, is today the day? Is today the day where they make that move?
Good to see you, Kurt Warner. I'll see you at the NFL 100 affair this evening.
All right.
I'll see you on NFL Game Day morning season preview show next Tuesday. Yeah. Won't see you in person, even though you'll be part of the Thursday kickoff show from Chicago, where you're calling it on the radio. Then I'll see you the following weekend.
All right.
Best to Brenda Warner,
see
sir.
You a lot.
Best to the most important Warner in the household.
Amen. Thank you.
That's when you're supposed to say, you know, best to my wife.
Best to your wife and the crew and the kids, and tell everybody. Suze, we love you. We know you're the important one, holding everything down. We know. We know.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live, or download the Rich Eisen Show app.